Shortly after the exhausting events that took place earlier on the gondola, Madeline and Theo made their way further ahead, leading to an opening in the mountain. Looking around, there are strange designs etched into the walls, floors, and ceilings. Statues stand surrounding the entrance, and there seems to be a reflective surface embedded into the walls. This appears to be much more than just an average cave. Theo walks further in. Oh man, look at this place. Feeling adventurous? Madeline, who is still recovering from what just happened, looks a little more trepidatious about the idea of going in. Theo decides to take a quick peek and snap a few photos, not heeding Madeline's warnings. He makes his way inside, saying that his Instapic followers are going to eat this up. Madeline stands at the entrance. There's no way this will end well. She then follows him inside the mysterious reflective cave. The entry is long and jagged. The markings that were outside follow all the way in, with now jewels embedded into the walls. It twists and turns until she enters a giant chamber inside. The inside is filled with mirrors covering the walls and an enormous eyeball with tentacles surrounding it in the center. She looks around, wondering where Theo could have possibly disappeared to. After searching for a while, she doesn't find Theo, but she does find his phone laying on the ground in front of a big mirror and another eyeball that's separate from the one in the main chamber. Worried, she picks it up and tries not to panic. Maybe it just fell out of his pocket, she says to herself. I'll give it back to him whenever I find him. She explores every inch of this enormous puzzle-like temple. All throughout, she finds different variations of the same eyeball that was found in the first chamber, wondering what the significance of it could be. Madeline enters another long, dark, narrow tunnel that lights up as she's walking, almost as if it was guiding her. As she emerges, she finally finds her friend Theo, except he looks strange. As she approaches, she realizes that he's actually inside the mirror, reminding her of the first time Dark Madeline appeared in another cave-like ruin. As she shouts out for Theo, he turns to her and says, Madeline, hey! Why are you inside a mirror? Madeline looks at him with a concerning look. I'm pretty sure you're the one inside the mirror. What happened? Theo explains to her that he was just trying to take a mirror selfie, and the next thing he knows he woke up on the ground. Madeline asks how could she find him. As she says this, Theo looks around and tells her that he thinks something is coming and he feels like he should run. He tells Madeline to be safe and takes off. Not really sure what else she can do to help, the only thing she could think of is to continue searching the dark interior of the cavern. After what feels like hours of searching, it starts to feel hopeless until she finds a hidden room. Inside, it's a pitch black interior, except for the greenish lights on each side of the room. They appear to be switches. After pressing them, two mysterious green flames light up, unveiling a giant cracked mirror in the middle of the room. Scared yet determined to help her friend, she walks up to it. The mirror begins to shimmer a purple and black color, and this time, it feels like everything has stopped. Everything around her grows dark, and she's floating in nothingness. There's Madeline, but there's also something else that's lingering in the vast emptiness. A statue of an eye, covered in tentacle, becomes alive and begins to seek out something. It lurks through the vast emptiness until it comes across Madeline. Not being able to flee, it feels like a bad nightmare. And then she wakes up. As soon as she opens her eyes, she looks around. The room looks similar to the one she was just in, but has a much different feel to the atmosphere. It's illuminated with a purplish hue surrounded by red spikes protruding from the walls. It almost seems familiar. As she makes her way down, there, standing in the entrance, is a dark figure that has been haunting Madeline at every turn. As she approaches, Dark Madeline dashes away into the next chamber and waits for Madeline to follow. Hey, where are we? Madeline shouts. What'd you do with Theo? You think I'm doing this? Dark Madeline responds. That's cute. Sweetheart, this is exactly what I warned you about. And then she dashes away. Madeline follows. Don't try to make this my fault. You still don't get it? The mountain gave me this body. But I'm not the only creepy thing living inside that messed up head of yours. Don't like what you see? What a surprise. Madeline angrily replies, Shut up! I tried to stop you. Look into the mirror. All of this is yours. This temple only magnifies the mountain's powers. You're in control here, not me. And then she dashes away again. Madeline chases. I don't believe you. If you're part of me, why do you want to hurt me? Dark Madeline rolls her eyes. Poor Madeline. Always the victim. All I do is babysit you and you hate me for it. You're unraveling and you know it. Fed up with what she's hearing, Madeline snaps back. If you care so much about protecting me, why don't you just explain to me what's going on? Like you would have listened. You never gave me a chance. She moves away once again. Starting to feel overwhelmed by this situation, Madeline starts to plead. Please, just help me get out of here. Dark Madeline giggles. Now you want me to save you. Why are you doing this? Just be on my side here, please. Rolling her eyes again. Stop trying to make me feel like the monster. You really want to know why I won't help you? It's because you deserve this. Madeline doesn't respond. She just stands there fighting back the tears. Still think you can climb this mountain? Madeline shouts back one final, Shut up! The figure of Dark Madeline disappears once again back into the cavern. I don't need your help, Madeline says, trembling. I'll do this alone. She proceeds deeper into the dark, twisted version of the cavern in search of her friend Theo, and possibly answers as to where they might be. As she's walking, a creature begins to manifest. A purple, one-eyed creature with tentacles. The very same one that she had dreamt about just before being sucked into the mirror. Perhaps this is what Dark Madeline was referring to, starting to understand where they are. She manages to escape from this creature, but she stops to contemplate. If this is all in my head, why is it all so hostile? Those things are hunting me. I'm a trespasser in my own world. She kneels down, trying not to have another panic attack. Theo's trapped in here somewhere because of me. If I give in fully, maybe the temple will let him go. Madeline, feeling very unsure of herself, looks over into the mirror next to her. Her own reflection begins to talk to her. Breathe. This is all coming from inside me. Get up, Madeline. Think of the feather. You can save Theo. This was exactly what she needed to hear. She stands up, marches forward into the darkness, trying to avoid being devoured by these strange, tentacled creatures. She comes upon a new chamber. Glancing around, all she can see are eyeballs, but different from the one she's been seeing earlier. They aren't focused on her, but something further ahead. As she approaches, she sees a cage held up on a pedestal, and inside that cage she sees who she's been searching for, Theo. Madeline rushes up and excitably greets him. She tells him that it wasn't easy. Theo just smiles back and says that he knew that she'd make it. She begins to tell him about what she's been through trying to get here, but Theo interrupts her, saying that he would love to talk about that, but after they get out of here. She manages to knock the cage loose, but he still seems to be stuck in the crystal. Theo tells her that the crystal is an expression of his negative psychic energy, or something. He goes on by saying that if he knew why he got trapped in here, then maybe he could figure a way out, but he doesn't. So being the strong girl that Madeline is, she lifts up the cage and starts carrying him out. The main thing that catches her eye on their way out is that the eyes that were surrounding them begins to follow. The eyes would follow her no matter where she went, but when she would put down Theo, the eyes wouldn't follow her anymore. She realizes that the eyes are actually trained on Theo, not her. She also realizes that the mountain may be having an effect on Theo as well. Just as they are almost to the end of the tunnel, there's a wave of energy that knocks her back, and then another one, and another one. Reaching the end, there is one large eyeball, blocking off the path leading to freedom. Madeline looks at Theo, not really sure what to do, but he looks back at her and then nods his head. Without having to say anything, she throws the cage that has Theo in it at the giant eye. With a cacophonous boom, the waves of energy are gone, and the exterior light of the sun is now visible. Just like last time, there are several really important details that can be overlooked in this chapter that are essential to the story. First of which is the temple itself. The name of this level is called the Mirror Temple, and since we already know that the mountain brings out the insecurities of an individual, which is what Dark Madeline represents, the temple acts as an amplifier of the mountain's energy. It doesn't just show you a reflection of yourself, but a reflection of your own mind. The temple really starts to show off its power once Madeline finds that big mirror in the middle of the dark room, very similar to the one that Dark Madeline first appeared from. It's at this point when Madeline is actually transported into her own mind. This is confirmed when Madeline encounters her dark counterpart. Dark Madeline tells her that the mountain gave her this body, but she's not the only creepy thing living inside that messed up head of hers, referring to the eyeball tentacle monster that we find later on in the level. She also tells Madeline at one point to look in the mirror because all this is yours. So this means that all those creepy floating eyes that are attacking her are actually visual representations of her own thoughts. This whole level is Madeline trying to get out of her own head and to stop letting her hold herself back. The scene that Madeline's having a conversation with herself in the mirror, giving herself that pep talk, is a scene that supports this idea. There is one more interesting thing that happens in this temple. It's here that we finally see what the mountain's doing to Theo. When Theo disappears, he went into the temple to take photos for his Instapics account. And there we found his phone next to a mirror. When we next find Theo, he's trapped in a crystal surrounded by dozens of eyes staring at him. He says that the cage is an expression of his negative psychic energy, but he's not really sure what it all means, and why he's trapped here. This is the mountain trying to tell him that he's become so obsessed with trying to get more Instapic followers that it's become an insecurity for him. Like he's trapped in a cage with thousands of eyes constantly watching him. This is also why the eyes follow Theo and not Madeline. He even tells us in the very beginning that the whole reason he came to the mountain in the first place was to take cool pictures and to get more followers. I'll probably be doing these little explanations at the end of the videos because I think they help clarify things that the game doesn't outright explain. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.